Mistyping is not the worst thing, right? Anyone who is showing up to this work and who is engaging with this work earnestly is going to grow and develop. I think some people get really freaked out that like, oh, if I don't have my type right at the beginning and I do all this work, then I'm gonna give myself a complex or I'm gonna screw something up. And it's like, no, it doesn't work like that. If there's a type that resonates with you now, that like you can see yourself as, at least in this moment, work on that and see what happens. As far as like being a core type, being versus like conditioned to be something else, the Enneagram wisdom says that you are one type and that is it. So it's not that necessarily your type would change, but your type can definitely take on different behaviors that look like some other type. Tomorrow, a podcast episode is coming out that I did with Nian Vuong, who is a really prominent Enneagram teacher who, like, she makes her whole living doing this, and she mistyped. She was a teacher and she was an Enneagram professional, and she was identified as a one, and then through her work realized, wait, I'm not a one, I'm actually a three. And yeah, and it's interesting because like she can talk very eloquently about it now, but like she was like, well, I was a three growing up in an environment and in a household where the three's kind of ambition and the three's approach to life was very much not accepted. So instead, she kind of adapted the cultural type, right? The type that was kind of impressed upon her, and she just did that instead. And she was really good at it because she was a three. And threes are really good at living up to other people's expectations. But there's a way in which our type is kind of always butting up against culture, whether that's the culture of our family or society or the cultural expectations of our gender or race or whatever. When we can look at the Enneagram from this more intersectional space, we see that my type is affected by all of these different identities that I hold. And so there are all of these different things that are kind of adding pressure in certain areas. And that might be part of the type and it might not be. But that takes a lot of work to kind of unpack. And that's why I answered the second part of your question first, because you can kind of ignore everything I just said and just work with what's up for you right now. Because that's the work that's yours to do right now, right? Like you can't do work on an imaginary type that you don't know yet. But if you have at least a strong enough sense, find one thing about this type that resonates and just watch for it. Watch how it plays out in your life. And if you do that enough and you make shifts and changes, maybe something else is revealed and you're like, oh, actually, it's this. Actually, I'm totally this. And I was showing up in these other ways because of X, Y, and Z. Okay, cool. But the Enneagram is a tool and it's meant to be worked. And you're not going to get anywhere without working it first. If you're showing up and you're doing earnest work, it's going to move you in the right direction.